Hello and welcome to We Random, the random podcast where we talk about random stuff. This is episode 55. We're recording live October 19th, 2021. Hey B, there's some breaking news came out today. John Travolta was hospitalized for suspected COVID-19, but the doctors confirmed that it was actually only Saturday night fever. And they assure everyone that he is staying alive. Apparently he had chills and they were multiplying. No, nothing.
Nothing.
You know what? I told Emily that you probably wouldn't get that joke, but for everyone else, that shit is funny. We'll be back right after this.
Almost Qualified Productions. Your dose of semi-coherent babbling.
Welcome to We Random, episode 55. I'm Brian, that's Christopher. Say hello to these wonderful people, Christopher.
Hello, amazing, wonderful people.
So, for those of you who are old friends of the show, welcome back. Thank you for coming back. Those of you who are new, I'm sorry, but you're here, so please stay. So, as you might notice, on our screen, for those of you who are watching, there is a wonderful wheel. I call it the Wheel of Doom. The reason that the Wheel of Doom is there is because we have some carefully selected topics that we are going to get mad about online. So, that wheel is going to spin, it's going to tell us what we get mad about, and we are off to the races. Did I cover it how you wanted it covered, skonzii, or do you have additional stuff to say?
Nah, it works for me. I think you did it good.
All right. Well, any other words of wisdoms or thoughts or anything for these great, wonderful people before we jump right into this stacked wheel tonight?
You know what? All I would say is if you're not smiling, put a big smile on your face. And hopefully we can give you something to smile about too.
All right.
But we're probably going to argue and yell and get mad about something. But we're going to find out right now because I'm spinning that old wheel, B. And we're going to start it off with the Brewery Lawsuit. Or is somebody else really disgusted with IPAs and they're just like, I'm going to sue somebody? Is that what this is?
No, but a federal class action lawsuit has been filed against the Waukesha School District superintendent and school board members for not adhering to the CDC guidelines of proper masking, social distancing, and quarantining. The lawsuit was filed by a parent whose child became COVID positive by attending in-person classes. And an interesting twist, Minocqua Brewing Company said in a post that they were funding the parents' lawsuit. The company said, "We raised over $50,000 last week to pay lawyers, infectious disease experts, and epidemiologists to work to prepare this case. If we can get a temporary injunction in a few weeks, the money that we raised might be enough, and it could buy Wisconsin schools enough time until the FDA approves the vaccine for children, at which point we will not need to continue with the lawsuit." So I thought that this was very interesting. I actually have a friend who works in the Waukesha School District, and they sent this to me, and they're like, "Oh, this is really cool," even though like everybody's mad about it. So it's just very interesting how, you know, someone with financial capital is using that financial capital, because we often see this, you know, on the other side where people with financial capital do things to like block other people from doing things. This person is using their financial capital to try to like get someone to do something. So I think that's interesting, right? It's different. What are your thoughts?
Well, my first thought is when your friend sent this to you, did you send them a link to our podcast so that we get an extra listener?
No.
Oh, B, come on. We need to spread the word.
They already know that I get mad online about things, though, because they've been here while I've been mad online about things.
Well, we need to get them on the podcast. We need to get them as a viewer. But it's funny because the one thing you brought up was the first thing that I thought of, which is, you know, we see so much money being pumped around, and it's really being pumped around on both sides. But I guess probably because of my personal viewpoint, what I see is the stuff that's pumped in on the, we're going to say the right side, because we know that's where a lot of this is coming from, right? The deniers and, you know, people who are fighting the school board and all that garbage, right? And all the money that's being pumped in on that side. So seeing someone put their money where their mouth is on the other side is actually kind of interesting. And, you know, regardless of which side you see, I mean, the long and short of it is we shouldn't have to take this stuff to law, you know, to court anyway. Like, we should be able to have a nuanced, intelligent conversation by the people who are in charge, but that's just not where we're at. We're in a position where people get bought and paid for, and people only spout off what their own thoughts are. They don't listen to anybody. So unless you're one of those select couple hundred of people that go to the Capitol every day for work, your voice doesn't matter. I mean, sure, you can vote, but the people you vote in don't give a shit what you say anyway. So, yeah, I'm excited about this. I think it's kind of a cool idea to go out there. I'm not a big fan of the line, we hope that this will change things and we won't have to go to court, because that just kind of sounds like, hey, we don't really want to spend this money. But I think it's a step in the right direction, at least from my personal point of view, as to where we are, and hopefully we can start to make people a little bit more safe.
Yeah, and you know, in full disclosure, it sounds like this person's business had some challenges during COVID, and based on where it was located, and like they kind of have that axe to grind with people who don't want to take COVID seriously. So obviously there's a social component there that is present. But I mean, I just thought it was interesting, so that's why I threw it in here for us to chat about.
Yeah, cool. I'm gonna move on.
Okay, well, we didn't get mad about something online.
We didn't get mad.
Now we'll probably have to talk about Jon Gruden.
No, we're going to talk about a different sports group. A couple of NBA players who were very, very, very good NBA players, all-stars, Hall of Famers, I think, apparently committed insurance fraud. So what the fuck is going on with this?
So, federal authorities charged 18 former NBA players with defrauding the league's health care plan out of nearly $4 million. The indictment says that from 2017 through 2020, the players submitted phony invoices to the benefit plan for reimbursement of services that never actually happened. These are from offices such as a chiropractor's office, a dental office, and Skonzii's favorite, the wellness office, that specialized in sexual health, anti-aging, and general well-being.
Oh, okay.
So Terrence Williams, who is apparently the alleged ringleader, was a 2009 draft lottery pick who spent 4 years in the league before an extended career overseas.
Wait, who is that?
Terrence Williams.
Terrence. Okay. All right.
Prosecutors say that he circulated false invoices to others in exchange for financial kickbacks. Several red flags in the documents drew the attention of administrators at the healthcare plan, as well as federal law enforcement. Some of the letters contained grammatical errors and misspelled the name of the patient. Now, so here's my thought on this. Number one, I see, again, I don't want to get angry and I don't want to start cussing, 6 minutes into the episode, right? But it's like, number one, use your brain, right? Like, if you're going to do it right. Number two, insurance company. How long did it take you to figure this out that you lost $4 million?
Yeah.
Who do you employ and what do you do and what are your practices that you just figured this out $4 million later? This doesn't seem right. This says smart, SMRT. Like, no! Come on, like, this is just...
Yeah, I think there's a lot of things at play here. I mean, the long and short of it, regardless of what else I say here, is these people are fucking idiots who are trying to catch a quick buck, right? Like you already won the lottery. You were in the frickin' NBA, for God's sake. I mean, even if you were a scrub walk-on guy, you still made six figures for a couple of years. Like, what the fuck are you doing, right? So, that said... I mean, I think when I looked through there was a bunch of guys who came straight out of high school too, right? Like these professional sports organizations are failing these young kids. I mean, let's be honest, the vast majority of these young kids who end up in professional sports and that's their career, most of them are not the child of, a doctor and a psychiatrist, right? These aren't, a lot of times these are individuals who come from a poor background, or, you know, they broken homes, et cetera, right? And even if they don't, how many of these people had the education on how to handle fame and money and everything that comes with it, right? Like, nobody does. It's not part of our education system. Nobody talks about that. Like, they're more concerned that you know who, you know, started some war in 1827 than they are that you know how to balance your checkbook. Don't get me wrong, history is important too, but knowing how to handle money is probably more important, right? So I think all the way up, we're just failing these individuals, and then we're just jumping all this money on them, and we hear about these stories all the time. People just don't know how to react, and they blow their money, et cetera, et cetera. So I think there's all sorts of things that play into this, that lead up to this, but in the grand scheme of things, bruh, what the fuck are you doing, man? Like, what else can you say? Like, it's just, I'm done with it.
Yeah, I mean, that's basically where I'm at too. Like, I don't have any additional things to say. It just kind of makes me shake my head. And
yeah. And for the record, I was being completely facetious when I said these are Hall of Famers. These are a whole bunch of, you know, you've heard the saying, you aren't even a has-been, you were a never was. Yeah, that's pretty much who these guys are. I'm spinning the wheel. Goodbye, never wases. This is a good topic here.
All right, so we are moving to talk about the Green Bay Packers. They are now 5-1 after establishing.
Oh, that was much louder than I expected it to be.
That was. It really was. So they are now 5-1 after establishing formal ownership of the Chicago Bears per Aaron Rodgers. You know, it hasn't necessarily been easy. The team has been playing without star cornerback Jair Alexander. Mason Crosby has missed a bunch of field goals. And, you know, the defense still kind of hit my drop, please.
This one? They fucking suck.
Yeah, that's about right.
Yeah.
But, you know, let's talk about how we feel. So they're 5-1.
Mm-hmm.
I would have to go back and look at our predictions, but I don't think that we had them at 5-1. So
I can try to pull it up quick while you're talking.
So, you know, I think it's interesting, right? Like, I think they're going to get into the more difficult part of their schedule. Like, I think Washington's probably a win. We've seen that Washington is not very good. I remember saying specifically when we did the Washington prediction, and we were like, oh, it's Ryan Fitzpatrick. And I was like, Ryan Fitzpatrick will be on the bench by then. And look, Ryan Fitzpatrick's on the IR. So
yeah, there you go.
Predictive. But then they go face Arizona on a short week, and Arizona is like
next level.
On fire. But it's interesting that they're winning with a banged up offensive line. Their defense is like, they're literally pulling corners like off the street. They're like, how about you? How about you? How about you? They're doing at the cornerback position what the Baltimore Ravens are doing at the running back position, where Baltimore literally has like the top 4 picks in the like 2015 fantasy draft as their running backs right now. But yeah, I mean, they're coming into their own, and they'll be getting back David Bakhtiari soon. They might be getting back MVS soon. Yeah. I mean, it's interesting. What are your thoughts on the good old Packers here?
So first of all, you had them at 5-1. I had them at 4-2.
Hey, look at me.
So you got the lead there, but you also picked them to lose at Washington, for the record. But you also picked them to beat Arizona. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. First of all, I just want to go back to week 1 when I tried to tell everybody to calm the fuck down. Aaron Rodgers is fine. His head isn't in the offseason. He's going to be, he's okay. He's Aaron Rodgers. I just want to point out that he's Aaron Rodgers. So, you know, fucking, I can't even remember their name. All those fucking stupid ESPN media pundits can go shove it up their ass. Overall, I think the team's okay. Like, the fact that they're playing a completely beat up, you know, offensive line where I think like half the line, if not more, is backups and young kids, and they're playing pretty well. I mean, you can't really argue with what they've been doing. Rodgers looks fine. Does he look like MVP Aaron Rodgers? Not exactly, but he's playing fine. The running back duo looks good. Defense still is struggling. like if you look at their raw numbers, it doesn't look horrible, but also you can't trust this team defensively to stop anybody. I'm excited about rookie cornerback Stokes. I think he looks pretty good. I think him and Alexander together, keep them for the next 10 years. I'll be happy with that. So
yeah, I mean, he's looking good. Like they've had a lot of injuries in the defensive backfield though.
They
So
have,
it's like Savage went out in the last game, and like King has been out. I mean, obviously it's
that's
Kevin
probably
King,
a good thing, but yeah.
But like they're legit. Like they had Quentin Dunbar on the practice squad, and they're like, no, it's fine. We'll bring in like some random dude who like once dunked a basketball at Shorewood High School or something. But
Yeah, I think overall, we've got a lot to be happy about, and we beat the Bears. And if you didn't know, Aaron Rodgers owns them.
That's true, but we have to let you all in on a secret.
What's the secret?
In a few weeks, Skonzii will be doing a 24-hour stream called Extra Life. And on that stream, maybe, just maybe, he will be dyeing his beard or his hair.
Oh, that's true.
Me, being the asshole that I am, I suggested the Chicago Bears color of neon tangerine.
Yeah.
So if you want to see Skonzii represent those Bears, you get your donation in on November 6th, brother. Ooh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right. When we go live, we're going to have a bunch of choices so that when every donation, you can choose which color you would like to see. And there's going to be, hopefully, if all goes well, 5 colors, 5 hair colors, 5 beard colors, like that, whatever that is. Yeah, so that should be exciting. And for those in the live chat, I put the link in the chat there, so you can go check that out. Again, you can definitely donate now. There's going to be some special incentive stuff the day of, so make sure you check that out. Anyway, are we done with the Packers? Are we moving on?
Well, we're done with the Packers and we're done with our promo, so let's move on to the next topic.
And by the way, last part, those patrons out there, make sure you get in the Patreon Discord channel and let me know the colors that you want us to choose from. Tech Giants. I think this is a new one that I added in, I think, right? Or not? No, this is one you had.
This one was an older one, but Amazon, Google, and Microsoft have repeatedly used a common tactic to sidestep public scrutiny and work with U.S. immigration agencies despite employee backlash and company policies that are listed against doing such work. By working through third parties or acting as a subcontractor, Amazon, Google, and Microsoft have been able to provide clerical tools like the Google Workspace or Microsoft Office to immigration and customs enforcement and customs and border protection. In other scenarios that involve more than what was found as a dozen active accounts, the companies were able to supply cloud services or professional tools for surveillance or immigration enforcement. One recent deal for a data mining tool called Raven uses the Amazon Web Service. So this discovery raised some questions about their willingness to audit their own contracts, especially in light of protests or internal policies that were against these, things. So I don't know. It's interesting because Google came out and said, hey, we're not going to work any immigration related contracts, and then this article is like, hey, look at you're doing it, so why are you talking out of both sides of your mouth? So this doesn't surprise me, because this should this be the old Zeke Elliott feed me of the week?
Yeah, it kind of is.
Money makes money. They want to make money. They're going to, contract out, and they're going to go, oh, we didn't know that they were doing that. It's kind of like when somebody has pirated movies on their, Amazon Web Services hosted server, and then, they've got their 10 friends who log in and they all download Zoolander, and then, they know, oh, somebody's downloading a lot of stuff from this web client, but hey, they're paying us the whatever a month. Cool with me. This is basically what that is, except, this actually could harm people. And there goes my internet. Hooray.
Yeah, you're still here. You're good.
Right, I saw myself freeze.
Yeah, it does that every now and then. Yeah, so again, this isn't a huge surprise, but I think these kind of things are always important to bring out. So I think that when we think about companies trying to do the right thing as far as I don't want to use the term social justice because it's got kind of a negative connotation, but culturally and socially trying to do the right things, right? We don't want to support ICE because they are doing the shit that they're doing, right? We got kids in prison camps or whatever the fuck we've got going on. We don't want to support, this individual or this company because they're doing this bad stuff, whatever the case may be. When we talk about companies trying to do the right thing like that, the tech industry is really kind of pushing the ball a little bit quicker and further than everybody else. And I think that kind of makes sense, right? They're a little bit more new age. They generally are run by younger individuals who are more activist minded. So I think that makes sense. But that said, they're also pretty liberal for the most part, right? A lot of liberals who are part of these companies, both working for and running these companies. And I think it's great. I think that, you want to stand up for what's right and what you believe in and that type of thing. But the problem is that, as you said, it's people who are, speaking out of both sides of their mouth. And that doesn't mean that the company automatically knows all of these, right? So maybe Google is selling some service to some company, and then that service in turn is packaging it up, and now they're selling it to ICE or whomever the case may be. So Google may not even be aware of it, but there's probably also situations where they are aware of it, and they're just, they created their subsidiary. They call it Smoogle, so that you don't know that it has anything to do with Google. And Smoogle is selling to ICE, right? And then people are like, oh, well, it's not Google, it's Smoogle. It's like, get the fuck out of here. So, I mean, we know this stuff happens, but I think shining a light on it is important. I keep seeing Brian laugh over there.
It's the fruit-based company. Who could that be?
Yeah, exactly. We're going to call it the Orange Company. Yeah. So I think it's important to shine a light on this kind of stuff, though, because as much as I support these companies when they're trying to do the right thing, it's almost worse. What's worse than not doing the right thing, or sometimes even actively doing the bad thing, sometimes, is standing up and saying, "Look, we're good people. We're doing the right thing," and then behind the scenes, you're doing the bad thing. Sometimes that's even worse.
So we're moving on to Jon Gruden. No, I'm kidding.
Oh,
really.
Oh wait, I got that one here. But I'm gonna spin because I think we're done with that one.
Yeah, we are.
It's gonna be Jon Gruden. No, it's the homecoming story.
Oh, do you remember when you went to homecoming? I don't, because I didn't.
I didn't go either, but I bet Emily did.
Actually, I did go to homecoming, and it was a terrible, horrible, no good story.
Oh boy,
we don't need to.
I need to hear that sometime.
Anyway, Brittany Walters, a high school senior in Mississippi, made a promise to her mother who passed away from cancer. Brittany and her father would go to homecoming, where the high school senior was nominated for homecoming queen. Brittany did not win homecoming queen that night, but thanks to an act of kindness that shined a light on a grieving family and community, she ended the night in the crown. Senior Nyla Covington was voted the homecoming queen, but moments after being crowned, Covington walked over to Brittany and put the crown on her. She says, "I just felt like it was something that was put on my heart. It was really just for her to bring up her day a little bit. I know she'd rather have her mom than a crown, but the point was I was telling her that she was her mom's queen, and I was letting her know that she was loved by many and especially me." So I thought that this was a really cool example of someone like going out of their way to do something nice and do kind of a good thing for others. So it seems like the mother in this case was somebody who worked at the school. Like a lot of the kids knew the mother, and then obviously she passed away, and then her daughter doesn't win the homecoming crown, but the person who does is like, hey, like, we want you to have this. So I thought it was really cool, like, especially when we get all these grown-ass adults who can't make a decision or who can't work together. You got two kids over here who are like, I'm going to do something nice for you. So maybe there's just this little bitty tiny sliver of hope hidden behind the poop emoji on your screen that still exists in the world.
Yeah, no, I think we need to do more of these stories. I love these stories. I think these are great. By the way, Emily did go to homecoming and it was That's kind of why I didn't go. We need more of these stories. This is an call to action for you and IB. But like these are the kind of stories I love. And I'm going to share my own story that is not like this story. When I was in high school, my sophomore year in high school, one of my closest friends died. It's a good start to a story. And for whatever reason, they decided to hold the visitation or whatever they do, the wake, that kind of thing, in the middle of the day. This was pre-internet because I'm really old. So it wasn't something that everybody knew about. I found out about it last minute. And school administration said if you could get a hold of your parents and they would give permission for you to get off school, you could go to the visitation. So obviously I did everything I could. I'm standing in the office. I'm calling my parents. They didn't have jobs where they could easily grab the phone. Obviously this was pre-cell phone time. So it's not like they had a phone on their hip. They would have had to, I had to get to the office, who had to call them, et cetera, et cetera. Couldn't get a hold of them. At the same time, I heard two kids who had no idea who Mike was, laughing and joking about how they got their parents to get them out of school and they were just going to skip school and go do whatever they're going to do. I'm 45 years old. This was 30 years ago. To this day, that shit still pisses me off on a bunch of different levels. The reason I tell that story is this is the type of thing that's going to stick with that girl for a very, very, very long time. And it's a much better story than what mine is. So yeah. These are the things. This is why, you know what, if you have the opportunity to do something good, even something small, even something that doesn't seem like a lot, do that shit, because a lot of times that can make a world of difference in somebody's life. And not just right now, but sometimes very long lasting. So yeah, it's a good story.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's much better than my homecoming story, which is, does the girl that you start the night with at homecoming end up getting with another guy and leaving you to be by yourself? If yes, then that's my homecoming story. If no, you had a better night than I did.
Oh,
now
boy.
let's spin this wheel.
All right. Oh, I didn't put the link in either. Let me get the link for everybody. And it seems like a bunch of stuff disappeared, but we're going to talk, speaking of disappearing, we're going to talk about the Milwaukee Brewers.
So I think that the Milwaukee Brewers are why the poop emoji is there.
Yes, you are absolutely correct. We replaced the two Brewers players with the poop emoji.
All right. So as you may know, based on where we are at with Mr. Emoji, the Milwaukee Brewers did not win the World Series.
No.
The Milwaukee Brewers, in fact, did not win 2 games in playoffs. The Milwaukee Brewers barely had 2 hits in the playoffs. But I don't even know where to start with this. Like, part of me, like, when I was a kid, like, Atlanta was always kind of like my second favorite team, right? So, like, I go back and forth between being like, okay, it's Atlanta, and then being like, Atlanta's the fucking luckiest team in the universe. Like, every time somebody hits a ball, some dude jumps 6 feet in the air and catches it. Mm-hmm. And then one of their dudes hits a ball, and, like, somebody falls down, and then, like, they get, like, I feel like I need to center myself. I need to
woosah a little bit.
do some breathing exercises, but I'll kind of sum this up how I summed it up on Twitter, and then I'll let you get mad about our offense and say that they're trash, and then I'll challenge you as to why they're trash. But I feel like in this series, the baseball gods looked at Craig Counsell, basically told him that every move that he normally makes that would work was going to fail. That's literally what happened in this series. Like every swing decision that Craig Counsell made did not work out. And that's not to say that it was a bad decision. It was just a decision that didn't work out for him. And that is honestly how the Brewers oftentimes win. Counsell makes this gut decision and he sends a guy to the plate, and that guy usually gets a hit. Counsell makes this decision to let a pitcher stay in the ball game, and that guy goes out and finishes that next inning. Counsell decides that he's going to be aggressive and pitch his closer in the 8th inning or the 9th inning in a tie ball game, and that guy actually gets people out and doesn't give up a tying home run, right? Like it was just a confluence of events that at the end it was just laughable. So now tell me why you're mad online, Christopher.
Well, here's the thing. I agree that he made a lot of decisions that didn't work out, but if you take, we're going on an adventure with me, B. You take the best chef in the world, whoever that might be. You may just go with go with Gordon Ramsay. If you take Gordon Ramsay and you bring him to your house, like you're not kidnapping Gordon Ramsay, Emily, calm down. You bring Gordon Ramsay to your house and you say, look, here's all these ingredients. Here's all these spices. Here's all the stuff you could want. I want you, because you are the decision maker. You have who knows how many Michelin stars. You can make these decisions. You can work miracles. So work a miracle. But you also have to cook with this dog poop. Gordon Ramsay ain't going to make nothing that tastes like anything but dog shit. It doesn't matter. It's going to taste bad. And that's the problem Craig Counsell had, is it didn't matter what decision he was making. He was still trying to cook with dog shit. And you could argue that all you want. But I went back and I looked at our offensive players, the starters mainly, right? And if you look at their numbers this year and you compare them to their numbers over, last year was a weird year, but like the career numbers, what you can expect from them, pretty much except for Christian Yelich, everyone was pretty much on par with what you would expect from them. Let that sink in. The shit players that we had are exactly who, what is that? What does that be? They are who we thought they were. They were garbage. I said it at the beginning of the year. And the thing is they got hot, because sometimes garbage gets hot, and the garbage got hot. The garbage caught fire. And for a couple months, they looked like they were going to storm through the playoffs and win everything. But guess what happens to every team that gets super hot? At some point, you fall back to normal. And unfortunately for us, that happened the last, 2-3 weeks of the season, and then into the playoffs, and they couldn't hit a goddamn thing. That's the problem that we ran into. And it's frustrating as hell because it was so evident. And this isn't a pat myself on the back moment. Like, I've been bitching about this all year. They are not a team built to be successful at the plate. That's just not how they're built. They knew who it was when they brought it in. And the thing is yes, and again, this is the same point that I've been making, is yes, they're counting on Craig Counsell to put the right guy into that position at the right time to get that hit. But the problem is, if you got guys who get a hit maybe twice out of every 10 at-bats, you're asking for a fucking miracle out of that guy. And he does good. But, sometimes maybe we ask just a little bit too much of him this year.
I've been calling it offensive variance, and I was kind of explaining this to a friend of mine who doesn't really watch baseball, but is like kind of into sports. And I was like, let's think about it this way. So in baseball, they generally say that the best player is going to get a hit 3 out of 10 times, but we want to extrapolate that just a little bit to increase the sample size. So that's 30 hits out of 100 times at the plate, right? With the Brewers, they don't look at hits as much as they look at on-base percentage and slugging. So a lot of their players might only get a hit 20 out of every 100 times, or 23 out of every 100 times. And you wouldn't think that 7 hits is a lot. But again, when we're talking about sample sizes, over 600 at-bats, this all evens out. But over 100 at-bats, you could go, 10 for 100. And then your next at-bats, you might go 30 for 100. And there's your 20 for 200, right? But like that's, or what would that be, 40 for 200?
We got you.
Math
Yeah.
is hard.
Yeah.
But that's the thing with this team. There's so much offensive variance is that they are honestly built around these players who, and this is why it works, and this is why it doesn't work, because somebody gets hot. Oh, Willie Adames gets hot. So there's his month where he's hitting, 35 balls out of 100. He gets a hit. And out of those 35 balls, 7 of them are home runs. Same thing with Rowdy Tellez. All right. So here's his month where he's got 27 hits out of 100 and 10 of those are home runs. Eduardo Escobar. But then they all hit the stretch where over, 50 or 100 at bats, they all had 4 hits.
Well, and it echoes back to whatever year that was, 13, 14, 15, 16, somewhere in there, where we hit the All-Star break and we're like 20 games up in the division or some garbage. And then we won like 3 games the rest of the season. It's the same kind of thing, right? You've got a whole bunch of players who are not very good. And by very good, I mean people who are very consistent. Like Christian Yelich, the 2 years that he was really good. Like guys who, they might go into a bit of a slump, but a slump for them is like a 2 for 13. And then all of a sudden they're going to start hitting again, right? We don't have those players. You're going to get the guys that have a 2 for 47, right? These are the kind of players we have. But then as B was saying, they're going to follow up that 2 for 47 by going 20 for 47. The problem is, and back in that season, everybody did that at the beginning of the year, and then everybody hit their slump at the end of the year. This time, we had that chunk kind of since Willie Adames showed up, basically, until the last couple of weeks of the season, everybody was hitting, and then all of a sudden, everybody kind of honestly reverted back to normal. It's not like they went super cold and they were horrible. I mean, they were horrible. But that's because they're horrible players. They just reverted back to normal. And now you've got everybody who can't hit. And I can understand the whole point of we want people who are going to drive in runs. We want you to get on base, and then we want people who are going to drive in runs. Well, here's the thing. You get a lot more or a lot fewer extra base hits than you do just slap singles somewhere. And how many times did we have 2-3 men on with no outs in this fucking series against Atlanta, and you couldn't buy a hit? I mean, all you need is a freaking slap hit to the outfield and you're scoring a run. And we couldn't do it because everybody's striking out. This is the team that we built.
Yeah, I mean, you need Nori Aoki, right? Like,
yes.
That's the type of hitter that you need up. And honestly, so long, Christian Yelich. Those two guys definitely underperformed in that series. I mean, Yelich, he underperformed all year. That's what it is. He hasn't been the same since the knee injury. There's a myriad of reasons why that could be. Yep. But I feel like they expect Wong to be that guy, right? Like he's supposed to be, hey, he's going to slap and get on base and do whatever. So, I mean, that's so hard. Like I just think of all of these times. There's Vogelbach's at bats. There was an at bat that Tyrone Taylor had, and I'm like, Tyrone Taylor's the guy that you want up there. Like, there's nobody else that you'd want up there. But like, it just didn't happen. Yeah. And I don't know what they do, because we've had this conversation offline, but it almost becomes a financial reality, right? Do they have
what they got?
Financial capability to buy someone whose offensive variance is a little bit less, and they probably don't.
Yeah, it's just what we have to deal with. I don't know what happened with this wheel, but I swear like 5 things disappeared, because we should have a lot more than this. But we're at 38 minutes, so what do we say we spin one and go for one more, and then maybe do a red flag or whatever it is? Does that work for you?
Sure, that works for me.
I don't know what happened to everything else on here. I guess we're talking about the Taliban beat. Oh, you know what it was? Because I didn't change the URL. So that was my bad. So none of the new stuff was on here. Let's not talk about the Taliban. This is stupid.
Let's skip. All right. So I will give you, let's see. So we've got a couple topics. Let's just get into, do we want to talk about Jon Gruden?
Well, we kind of got to.
Because I think I want to talk about Jon Gruden.
Let's talk about Jon Gruden, and then I'm going to bring one up because I kind of want to talk about it really quickly.
All right. So Jon Gruden, the former coach of the Las Vegas Raider, he denounced the emergence of women as referees, the drafting of a gay player, and tolerance of players protesting during the national anthem, and more in his emails from, any period between 2011 and 2018. Now, he ended up resigning and saying that he didn't want to hurt anyone and all this stuff. And there's, like, what really frustrates me about this story, Christopher, is every way that people are trying to bend over backwards to justify what Jon Gruden is saying, right?
Yeah.
People are like, oh, well, that was in the past. It's done now. Other people are like, well, why is it that the NFL wants to have, rappers at the Super Bowl who have very vulgar lyrics that are very similar to the things that Jon Gruden said? There are other people who are like, well, why does Deshaun Watson get to keep his job when Jon Gruden had to resign? Like, this is just cancel culture. And I'm like, look, people, you need to stop it with the cancel culture thing. And I'm sorry, I'm not going to see both sides of this issue. This motherfucker came out in email and was dumb enough to write these words down in an email. So that's on him, number one. Number two, the thing about people who will say, oh, it was in the past, maybe he learned from it. It was 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021. This man was not a kid, a 17-year-old kid, a 25-year-old kid. This was a, 50-year-old man who was saying these things? He should know better.
No, he does know better. He knows better.
I know, but what I'm saying is, like, we're not at the point where we're going to give him this benefit of the doubt that he didn't know what he was saying or that he didn't mean what he said. He's just backtracking all of that, and that's what's frustrating. And what I will tell you about that excuse of, oh, well, that was in the past, that doesn't happen anymore. When we say that, you can almost guarantee that these things are happening and being said today.
Oh, hell yeah.
By someone, right? Like, that's the challenge. And then when people come and go, oh, well, what about Deshaun Watson? The thing with Deshaun Watson is, if the league would have punted him, all of these people who are the people that go, what about being, innocent until I'm proven guilty? They would say that. There's no legal charges on that man yet. So do they probably want to put him out of the league? Probably, but they got to give him the due process, because you know what? The NFL, they want that Zeke Elliott money too. They don't want to get sued. As to where Jon Gruden, again, he was dumb enough to put that stuff in writing. He wrote it down. He sent it to somebody. So there's your evidence right there. This isn't a legal case. This is you being I'm not even going to say no words. Y'all know what he done did, so I'm just going to leave it at that. So you go on ahead. Handle yourself. I'm gonna take a drink of water.
Well, here's the thing. Let me just start here with the what about Deshaun Watson? This might come as a shock to some people, so I want to prepare you. Make sure you're sitting down. It is possible for there to be more than one piece of shit in this world. They can both be a piece of shit. That's okay. I mean, it's not okay. But that's possible, and that's probably the case, right? So let's get that out here. That's just stupid. That's just people trying to deflect, right? They just, oh, you're getting rid of the white guy, but you're letting the black guy off. That's where that comes from. Let's not kid. I also just want to point out specifically, because I think it's important. DeMaurice Smith is the head of the National Football League's Player Association, and what Jon Gruden said about him is, dumb Boris Smith has lips the size of Michelin tires. DeMaurice Smith is a black man. Lips the size of Michelin tires. What? Like, there's so many things I want to say. And you know what really sucks? I don't even know if it sucks as a way. You know, the biggest blow for me is, I liked Jon Gruden a lot. I wanted the Packers to hire him. I liked what this guy was about. And now you come to find out that what he's about is a bunch of bullshit. Like, this guy's a piece of shit, clearly, right? Like, he's spreading this bullshit all over the place. And it's just, he got his comeuppance, right? He's still going to get God knows how many tens of millions of dollars. So he's going to be just fine. Let's keep in mind that he used all sorts of comments about gay people and A couple weeks ago, we did the story about the guy whose name I'm not going to remember, but the first officially publicly out NFL player on an NFL roster is on his team. Well, on his former team.
Yep.
Obviously, there's tons of black players on his team. You know, there's so many people that looked up to him, that respected him, that reported to him, that worked for him, that would go to, you know, run through a brick wall for him, and he hates them. Like he clearly has. I mean, how is it not hate to say somebody has lips the size of Michelin tires? You hate you. That's hate. I'm sorry, that's hate. Now he probably doesn't have the balls to go up to DeMaurice Smith and say to his face, "Hey, this is how I think of you." But that's hate. That's rooted in hate. You know, and this is first of all, this is not okay, and this is the kind of shit we have to put an end to, because sure, maybe it's not out there on ESPN every week. It is now, but it wasn't beforehand, right? But the people he's talking to are getting impacted by this. If you're sharing this information, you're impacting people. Either you're empowering them in their asshole beliefs, or maybe you're planting a seed that starts to grow. I mean, all these emails that he supposedly sent, is he the only asshole in this whole group? Nobody else responded to anything? How about the people who didn't respond and say, yo, Jon, what the fuck are you talking about, bruh? You can't be saying this shit. What is wrong with you?
Well, and this is what kind of really pokes me about this story, right? Is there are people who are out there who are like, you know what's funny about this? ESPN is going to be out here just pounding Gruden in the ground when he was sending his emails as an ESPN employee.
Right,
as if no one is like watching him or like seeing that he's doing this. And then there's all of the people who are out here like Derek Carr's like, oh, they just got to open up everybody's emails then, because if they're going to be in his emails, they got to open up everybody's emails. Like, is it a shock to think that not every one of us is a misogynistic, homophobic, racist person? Like, because that's what people go. They go, oh, well, you got to open up your email. What's in your email? Are you going to be proud of what's in your email? Yeah, I'm going to be proud of what's in my email because I didn't send racist, homophobic, or misogynistic content.
Yeah, it's and that's a deflection too, right? Like it's just him deflecting because he doesn't want to believe, or he's trying to stand up for his guy. Like it's shit ain't okay. None of this shit's okay.
So I'm going to close this with something that Emmanuel Acho said. He said, just because someone treated you well and treated you as a good person doesn't mean that that person is a good person at heart, right? So Jon Gruden can walk up to Derek Carr in the locker room and shake his hand and treat him with respect. But what he said about these women, what he said about gay players, what he said about DeMaurice Smith, none of those things make him a good person. And the fact that people out here in 2021 in America want to come to his defense and say, well, it should be okay for him to say these things because Eminem is performing at the Super Bowl. It just shows you how sad our world really is.
People are going to stand up for their idiot beliefs. It's just how it is. How it is. All right, let's move on to something happier and exciting. We're going to move on to
Random Rankins.
The Random Rankings this week.
Buddy.
Our boy B came up with something. What'd you come up with, B?
This week, we are going to go back to the bracket fight, but not just any bracket fight. We are going to do a bracket fight about cereal. Which cereal is the true alpha? Which cereal is straight trash? We'll likely find out tonight.
All right. So we're going to do the cereal showdown here. I think if I refresh this. Yeah, so it gets to choose right here. So let's get into it. Chat, same old rules as always. So hopefully the delay isn't too bad tonight. B and I are going to pick our wins, or who we think are the winners. And if we agree, they move on. If we do not agree, we're looking for you. You're the tiebreaker vote. All right. So B, we've got a cereal that I haven't had in about 40 years, and we've got a cereal that I have never had. Kellogg's Honey Smacks versus Apple Cinnamon Cheerios. What you
the
got?
Honey Smacks are like the 101 of cereal, so the Honey Smacks are moving on easily.
I am going to have to agree because I've at least had Honey Smacks, but they are not the 101 by any means.
Now, what you all have to realize as well is that I don't eat cereal with milk, so my choices...
Wait. What am I just finding out right now?
I just like eat the straight dry cereal. So yeah, ever since I was a kid, I just ate the straight dry cereal. I never liked milk. Like I barely tolerate milk in my coffee now.
Wow. Okay. All right. Yeah. I don't drink milk, but I have to have milk in my cereal, man.
Yeah. And you want me to eat cottage cheese on stream, considering my feelings on dairy.
Yeah.
Come on now.
Well, I am wholeheartedly and very aggressively voting against your 101 right here. Because Cookie Crisp knocks the shit out of Honey Smacks, man.
So did Cookie Crisp get a bye? Is that what happened here?
I guess there was just the one play-in game. Honey Smacks was in the play-in game.
Ooh.
Dude, this is Cookie Crisp without a doubt.
Send this one to chat because I'm good with either of these.
Oh, chat. All right. Make me proud, chat. This has got to be Cookie Crisp. Z-Dubs is excited about the cottage cheese. Not as excited about the Brussels sprouts, though.
Brussels sprouts are delicious. Now, are they cooked?
Or they're going to be cooked. They're going to be cooked.
Okay. Oh, cool.
All right, we got one vote for the Cookie Crisp. We're going to give it 5 seconds, and then I'm going to vote. I'm going to have to bust out the randomizer because I think, I don't know how many people we got in chat. All right, and going once, going twice. Cookie Crisp with the win. B, we got just standard, regular. Oh, Dubs was like a second late. We got the boring old regular Special K, so nothing special. Oh my God, Kix. I have not heard or seen of Kix in so long.
So these are like two really boring cereals, right?
Yeah, they kind of are.
But I think we got to go with the Special K.
Oh, I got to go with Kix, just for the throwback to when I was a kid.
Kix?
We ate Kix back when I was a kid.
I can come with you then.
Okay, we're going to do Kix.
A strong preference.
All right. Dubs was extra early that time. He's getting his kicks in there. All right. I have never had Apple Jacks. You can believe that. So Apple Jacks or Corn Flakes?
I'm going to go Apple Jacks.
Apple Jacks? All right. I'll go with Apple Jacks because I don't really have I have nothing on that one. Ooh. Okay. Ooh. Count Chocula versus Captain Crunch. Now, I've never actually had Count Chocula. I never had any of those cereals. I should order those so I get those. But this is like, dude.
So the worst part about the Captain Crunch being in here is it's like the worst variety of Captain Crunch.
Yeah, it doesn't have those crunch berries, man. You gotta have the crunch berries.
Because you don't have the crunch berries. Like there were like 17 different varieties of Captain Crunch that were delicious.
Yeah, and there's at least 2 more coming up that I can see.
All right, let's go with the count.
All right, I'll give it. You know what? I'm gonna toss it to chat. I'm gonna see what chat says, because I would go Captain because that's the only one that I've ever had. But
got you. See, I went with that because you said that there's other varieties. Because I see this is peanut butter is coming up.
Yeah, well, the Captain got the vote, so we're going with the regular Captain. Now we got the peanut butter Captain versus rice Chex.
Peanut butter Captain, baby.
That's a no-brainer.
Peanut butter Captain.
Ooh,
this is gonna hurt me.
Now, Rice Krispies, everyone knows Rice Krispies. The best part of Rice Krispies is the Rice Krispie treat, let's be honest. Right. Versus one of the few cereals that I actually do eat to this day, Honey Bunches of Oats, hands down, with the almonds.
Bunches of Oats.
Yeah, dude.
Honey Bunches of Oats.
That is such a jam. Rice Chex. Oh, Dubs. I'm not even going to ask you. It's got to be Cinnamon Toast Crunch over Mini Wheats, right?
Yep.
Yeah, come on.
Oh my! Oh, this one hurts, but I already know what we're doing.
It's got to be Honey Nut Cheerios, man.
No, it's got to be Reese's Puffs.
No, Honey Nut Cheerios.
Reese's Puffs.
My favorite
Reese's
cereal
Puffs.
of all time, probably.
Reese's Puffs.
All right,
Send
chat.
it to chat.
I've never had
it.
Reese's Puffs, but Honey Nut Cheerios is where it's at, yo. All right, we got 2 peeps in chat. We'll see what they say. While they're doing that, I'm gonna turn on a randomizer. just in case. I'm just going to say 1 and 2. Well, we got a vote for Reese's Puffs. Oh, did that disappear when I did that? No. Okay. We got Emily got Reese's Puffs. Let's see if Z-Dubs comes in. If not, we'll give it to the Puffs. Break my heart. But we'll do it. Ah, you guys are killing me here.
Reese's Puffs.
Puffs, go. All right, Kix has to lose to Cookie Crisp, man. Like, you didn't even want Kix the first time.
Okay, I'm good with that.
Apple Jacks, Captain Crunch. It's got to be Captain Crunch.
Yeah, Captain.
Yeah, it's got to be Captain Crunch. Now we got the peanut butter Captain. Oh, peanut butter Captain Crunch. It's got to go down to the Honey Bunches of Oats, man.
No, I'm going peanut butter.
No.
Captain here. Peanut butter Captain.
Nope. It's got to be Honey Bunches of Oats.
I mean, either way, I'm happy with this one, so I'm not too.
Yeah, Z-Dubs is very upset that Kix didn't win, I think. All right, peanut butter. I kind of have the taste of the peanut butter crunch. I would kind of be okay with that because I haven't had it in forever. But yeah, Honey Bunches of Oats is like probably my number 2 cereal right now. It has actually gotten passed up by a version of Special K, believe it or not.
Is it the Special K with the like strawberries?
Yes, that's exactly the one.
Those are the 2 that I always get at Costco, and I eat them in my oatmeal.
Oh, interesting.
I like mix them. I like have my oatmeal, and then I mix them with the oatmeal.
All right, chat. We might have more of a delay happening here, but what do you got? Peanut butter crunch or Honey Bunches of Oats? First answer to come through wins. Otherwise, I'm getting the randomizer ready. I'm just going to randomize right now.
Do it.
All right, we got a randomized winner. And it's the crunch.
Oh, crunch.
Hey, Emily had just come in with the crunch too. Reese's Puffs versus Cinnamon Toast Crunch. It's got to be the crunch.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Yeah.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
That's an easy one. Back to Cookie Crisp versus Captain Crunch, the original.
I would say Cookie Crisp over the original Captain Crunch.
Yeah, I'm going with Cookie Crisp as well. Ooh, Battle of the Titans. Peanut Butter Crunch, Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
It's got to be, yeah. And as much as I love Cookie Crisp, I think Cinnamon Toast Crunch has to go. That might be the 101, to be honest.
Oh, we still got a whole other side.
we got a whole other side. Yeah. So we got Cheerios versus the Rice Krispie Treats cereal. It's got to be the treats, right? Like boring old regular Cheerios. Yeah, you didn't know there's a Rice Krispie Treats cereal?
No.
Yeah, there is. So that's got to win, right?
Yeah, we could take it.
Lucky Charms, Cocoa Crisp. Interesting. Cocoa Krispies.
Lucky Charms.
I agree with that one. Those marshmallows are to die for. Fruit Loops, Raisin Bran.
Fruit Loops.
I got to go with Raisin Bran on this one. Chat, it's up to you, y'all. I'll do the randomizer. We'll give it like a 10 count or so.
This is another one where it's like they're very different options, so I don't know that you can go wrong either way.
They're definitely very different. I don't know that I'm super crazy about either of them, to be honest, but Emily's going with the Loops. We'll see if Dubs, actually, which one won the randomizer? Okay, well, Raisin Bran won the randomizer, so we'll give Dubs a sec to see if he wants to go Raisin Bran. If he does, he swings the whole thing that way. Otherwise, it's Loops. 2 or 3 count. And Loops it is. We've got Fruity Pebbles versus Golden Crisp. Both are awful.
What is Golden Crisp?
You don't know what Golden Crisp is?
No.
It's what was that first one that you really liked that you said was the 101?
Like the snaps,
it's kind of like that. It's kind of like that. Even though it kind of makes me a little bit sick to my stomach, I think I'm gonna go with Fruity Pebbles.
I will go with Fruity Pebbles.
It's losing in the next round, no matter who it's facing.
Yeah.
I'm cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs or Frosted Flakes. They're great.
I'm lukewarm on either of these.
Yeah, I
Do you
kind of
have
am
a
too.
strong preference?
Not really. Let's see if Chad has anything that they want to say. I think I've probably had both. I think I enjoyed Frosted Flakes more than Cocoa Puffs, but neither of them.
I mean, they're good. Like, again, as someone who doesn't eat it with milk, like, I can see the people who are like, oh, the Cocoa Crisp is so great because then the milk gets all chocolate and it's like you're drinking chocolate milk.
Yeah.
But that doesn't apply to me.
That's fair. That's exactly what I would say about the Frosted Flakes, though, is that it gets, like, all the milk gets really sugary and...
Right.
Cocoa Puffs are the clear winner. All right, you win.
Okay.
Z-Dubs decided that one. We got the Crunch Berries versus another Raisin Bran. I'm not even going to wait.
Bran, get out.
That's not even...
It's right there.
All right, so we got Honeycomb, which I never really understood, versus Trix, which it has to be Trix, right? Even though Trix are for kids, I'm eating that shit. I don't care what you say.
Honeycombs are fine, but they weren't
There's so many of these that I haven't thought about in 30 years.
Is that the Pops?
Yes, Kellogg Corn Pops.
Dude, send it to the next round. Send it.
I can't. I got to go Cocoa Pebbles because Pops, no matter how fresh they were, I could get them fresh off the assembly line. They taste like stale cardboard.
I mean, there is also that.
So I'm going with the Cocoa Pebbles. Let's see what Chad has to say. I'll get the randomizer fired up in case we don't get one. Oh, that's the one that won. Oh, okay. All right. There's a lot of cocoa going on here, too. We got cocoa. We got fruits. We got all kinds of stuff. Z-Dubs went with Cocoa Pebbles.
Okay. All right.
Cocoa Pebbles. All right.
I see you, Z-Dubs.
I do kind of want to taste Pops now again. Lucky Charms.
Maybe we should just buy a bunch of...
We should totally get the cereal.
We should get cereal, and then that's the palate cleanser between all the random crap that we have to eat.
We're doing it. All right, we've got Rice Krispie Treats cereal versus Lucky Charms.
What's your preference?
I'm going Lucky Charms, man.
All right, I'll come with you.
I've at least had that one. Fruity. Oh, this is all the Fruity Pebbles and Fruit Loops.
So I feel like the Fruit Loops, again, those can be kind of weird and stale. I feel like Fruity Pebbles is a little bit different, so maybe you get that different texture.
Yeah.
So.
Uh-oh. Did we lose B? I hope we didn't lose B. We're going to do Fruity Pebbles. I think that's what he wanted. We know that he's on the Crunch Berries. Oh, shit. I hope we didn't lose B. This one, he didn't like Cocoa Pebbles. He liked Trix, so we'll go with that one because I would agree with that. Pretty sure we're on Lucky Charms, but we're going to give it a second. We sped through a couple. We're going to give it a second and see if we can get him back. I haven't gotten a message from him yet that says I'm offline. He's going to blame the podcast for his internet problems. Guaranteed. I think we go Lucky Charms. All right, we're going to go Lucky Charms. I know he'd go Crunch Berries on this one. But I can't decide the winner. Oh, wait, this one, I'm pretty sure he'd go Crunch Berries too. I feel confident in all of those picks up until this one. This one, I don't know. I think we got to wait and see. I'm gonna shoot him a message. Did you die? You saw my message. At least his video is still there, so it kind of looks like he just fell asleep mid-talking. He is typing, chat. Got the 3 dots going. I literally had 2 full days of meetings with 0 issues. Yep, I think that means he's dead. Are you back?
I'm back. Now this is my last podcast. I have to retire from podcasting now.
All right. Well, I went through and I picked the ones that I'm pretty sure you would like. So let me see if I can find them and see if I was right. Do you remember where we left off? We
left off right
Fruity
after
Pebbles.
the fruit. It was like all the fruits.
Fruity Pebbles and Fruit Loops, and we went with Fruity Pebbles. Then it was Cocoa Puffs and Crunch Berries, and I felt confident you would do Crunch Berries.
Crunch Berries, yep.
Tricks and Cocoa Pebbles, so I went with Tricks because you actually chose that one. You didn't choose Cocoa Pebbles.
Yeah, I would be indifferent on that one, but that's fine.
Lucky Charms versus Fruity Pebbles, I went with Lucky Charms.
Mm-hmm.
Crunch Berries and Tricks, I went Crunch Berries.
Crunch Berries.
Then Crunch Berries versus Lucky Charms, I went Crunch Berries.
Crunch Berries, yep.
All right, so we're Cinnamon Toast Crunch versus the Crunch Berries. And I know which way I'm going. And it's I'm not even going to say anything because I don't want to give it away.
So I'm going to explain this to chat because Z-Dubs will likely pick whatever skonzii picks. But my thought is when I look at these two cereals, I think about which of these cereals could you eat every single day?
Uh-huh.
And the cereal that you could eat every single day would be the Crunch Berries because you have a balance between like that sweet and then like the corn kind of like cerealness as to where like the Cinnamon Toast Crunch, that's like sweet, sweet, sweet every single day, which delicious, but would you get tired of that after a while? I think you might. So I have to go with Crunch Berries. So
the answer to your question is no, I would not get tired of that. In fact, when I do decide that I want cereal, there are 3 cereals that I generally buy. It's a Special K strawberries, the honey bunches of oats with almonds, and it's Cinnamon Toast Crunch. That said, after looking at all these cereals, I want some fucking Crunch Berries. So I'm going with the Crunch Berries.
Crunch Berries.
Crunch Berries win. This is insane. Like, I would never have thought that, but there it is. It's the Crunch Berries. You can't see it because it's super small for whatever reason. But Crunch Berries wins. Man. That I would not have chosen that. Like, there are legitimately 2 or 3 of my favorite cereals in this bracket. Crunch Berries would not have been on the list. I wouldn't have even thought of Crunch Berries before this list. And now I'm going to order some. I need to write that down. Crunch Berries.
Don't worry. Jenny from your local app will bring that straight to your door and put it in front of your door, so you have to knock it down and break all the Crunch Berries.
Actually, you know what? The groceries that I just got on Sunday, they brought that shit in and put it on my counter. It was great.
Oh.
Yeah, they were on point. It was a married couple, like running the whole Instacart together. Anyway, with that, we have Crunch Berries as the best cereal ever in the history of the world. If you don't agree, you're wrong. But we appreciate you coming along.
You gotta play the drop. Come on, do it.
Wait, which drop? I don't know which drop. What drop am I missing?
We gotta hear old friend of the show, Mr. Bad Person.
Oh, yeah. So if you think that Crunch Berries are not the best cereal ever, you, sir or madam, are
wrong.
That's right. All right, B. Let's now I got to switch back over here. Let's do your extra point.
So it's been a few weeks, as you may or may not have noticed, but we are back and we are glad to be with you. And one of the conversations that Skonzii and I have often, both on stream and off stream, is just to be mindful of your self-care and to be mindful of taking care of yourself. One of the conversations that we had recently really made me think about how I've been spending my free time. And I've definitely been feeling maxed out with a lot of things, but I've also been doing a pretty good job of prioritizing the things that I feel like I need to do to take care of myself and to take care of my family. I'm just trying to do a good job and provide for my family, as a friend of the show, Bart Winkler, used to say. He's definitely not a friend of the show, but I like him. So just make sure you're taking care of yourself. I know it's hard out there. We're getting into winter. Things are getting stressful for people at work and with school and with everything else. So just know that we care about you and we want you to take care of yourself.
Let me see if I get this right. Bart Winkler, friend of the show.
Definitely
But
not
not,
a friend
but
of the
not,
show.
but not really a friend of the show. But B likes him.
Yep.
So what are you trying to hint at here, B? Where are you going with this? What are you trying to say?
I was just riffing, right? Like the whole thing is that.
Wait, do I not like Bart Winkler? I don't remember.
You don't, because he's one of the sports talk guys who,
I mean, according to Matthew, I'm a sports talk guy. So.
Yeah, that's very true. So give us your sports talk spiel.
Let's go. A sports talk guy. I don't do that.
Good morning, everybody. It's time for skonzii.
Something like that. I don't know what to talk about on my extra point. There was one story that I really, really wanted to talk about, but I think we're going to hold that off. And being I don't get together for that extra time this weekend, I will have my own timeout with skonzii. If you don't know what that is, that's the extra podcast content that our patrons get. I think that's the right command. If you're a patron, if you support at I think it's a student level or above, all the information's on Patreon. Then you get that extra podcast content, whether it's another video or sometimes it's audio. It could be anything. You never know. No photo shots, though. Maybe a photo shot. We'll see. Anyway, I'll talk about that at a later time because I want to dig in deep onto that. I don't have anything off the top of my head. I'm thinking about today because today I had a lot of emotional swings. It was a long day. I had actually a really, really good meeting with my leader today. We talked about my future in my role, my future not in my role. So it's always good to be able to have those conversations and to think about the future and what the future holds, where I may or may not be going, where I may or may not be. Not that I'm getting fired, mind you. And so I think that was good. And then I sent B a message while I was sitting out in the garage after work, having my cigar and watching The Haunting of Bly Manor. If you haven't watched that, it's a really good one for Halloween time. It's on Netflix. Check it out. And I sent him a message and I'm like, here I am. It's 6:00. I got podcast at 7. I don't have time to make dinner really, not anything substantial by the time I finish smoking a cigarette. And it's like, these are the days when I think really hard about not streaming. Because it feels like from the second I wake up, pretty much till the second I go to bed, I'm just going. And yeah, sitting on stream, talking to you guys, talking to B, like it's fun and I enjoy it. But I'm also like, I have a schedule. I have to be here at this time and I have to do that. And this isn't me announcing anything or anything like that, but I think it kind of ties into kind of what B had said, which is protecting my own mental health, protect your mental health. I know there's going to be times, and you guys have seen it already, where I may just not stream. That's why it's important that you join Discord, which I will put the link on there, but I don't know what that one is. I can do this. It should be in there. But yeah, we all have to understand where we are mentally and physically and emotionally, and we have to protect that. As B was mentioning, the next couple months are going to be insane at work. I don't know how much I'm going to be streaming because by the time I get done with work, I'm not going to want to quote unquote work some more. I'm going to be on call or working until 6-7 o'clock at night most days. And so I had part of that meeting I had with my leader today was around how much work is being expected of me and how much I'm going to be doing and how I need to be able to take time for myself, et cetera, et cetera. So that's a very long way of me just kind of talking about myself that nobody cares about, and to say it's just important that all of us are being cognizant of where we are, how we are, and what we need to take care of ourselves. And I hope that each of you are doing that. I am going to do that. And that may mean that at times we may not see each other quite as much, but you know what? You know how to get a hold of me. So yeah, feel free to do that. And that's all I got, B.
All right. Well, this is the last episode of We Random. It really isn't, but that was kind of the joke, right? Because I said that I would retire from podcasting if my internet died. But we are here if you want to get in contact with us. I am on Twitter at LandmarkMKE. He is on Twitter at skonzii. You can find us AQ_PROD. You can find Skonzii live on YouTube. Click the little bell and subscribe so that you can see when he goes live. You can see the videos on demand. You can find them in your favorite podcast app. You can find Skonzii on Amazon Sidewalk or on the Nextdoor app when someone is concerned that there's a person of color looking at their car, and then he will be advocating for them to not be a jerk. But until next time, I'm Brian. That's Christopher. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate you, and we hope that you have a great week.
Thanks, everybody. See you over here.
Jon Gruden is a jerk, and that's not cool.
The Wee Random Dick of the Week.